Welcome back to our Premier Challenge, Gym Challenge number 15. Dennis Geisler, Pikachu. Round number 4, we've got an exciting one. We have Christopher Patiño and our good friend Arnie Wolf from being on stream during his bye in round number 2. Back for round number 4. He's gone 1-1 in the meantime. These players both 2-1, looking to make their way into Top Cut. Arnie did his thing where he fakes the video into the camera, not knowing the camera was not on him yet. Very disappointing. In any case, Christopher with the Indeedee female, the Armor Rouge, the Torkoal, the Hisuian Lilligant, the Fluttermane, and the Walking Wake. Arnie with Dragonite, Chenpao, Golden Go, Urshifu Rapid Strike, Amoonguss, and Entei. He got the Bidoof there. Very happy for him. Interesting matchup here. We do still see the Armor Rouge has gone a bit out of favor, but still has that Terra Grass, Flash Fire, a nice matchup into many fire types. Also have the Torkoal here with the choice specs, not the Charcoal. That'll do a bit more damage on its moves in general, and if it wants to go for an Earth Power, it can do a little bit more there, but it also means it doesn't have Protect, doesn't have the ability to change move. Could be an interesting matchup here. I'm really curious. Arnie has a lot of priority, but he's mentioned that he has a lot of ways to combat the Psychic Terrain and the just general power of Psy Spam. So anyway, we'll get underway. Chris and Arnie. See if Arnie can move his way forward, try to get towards Top Cut here. Urshifu Chenpao from Arnie. Urshifu, I know he's mentioning Urshifu matched up well into that. Chenpao also able to use the Ice Spinner and take down the Psychic Terrain immediately if it wants to. This is Choice Scarf Urshifu. I feel like it's a decent play to just kind of hit. So for Christopher, you do have to get that Chenpao out of the way, probably sooner rather than later. Make sure that, even if the Ice Spinner comes down, want to try to be a little bit more okay with things. There is the Terrastal from Chris. It's going to be the Indeedee Terra Water. It means it'll take a Surging Strikes and an Ice Spinner pretty well if that is the decision, especially if it goes for the Follow Me. I believe it will. And there is the Follow Me. It gets pretty well here. It is the expected. Urshifu will U-turn out, so it'll do a decent chunk there at the neutral move. Gets hurt by the Rocky Helmet a little bit, not going to do too much. Beats is here. Gotta get moving. Arnie will send out the Dragonite. That Choice Band and the Extreme Speed. Chenpao will use that Ice Spinner, get the terrain out of the way. Does a small chunk there. Take damage back with the Rocky Helmet, but it means the Psychic Terrain isn't up. And Armor Rouge will go for the Heat Wave, which will knock out the Chenpao with the Rocky Helmet damage. It means Focus Sash isn't up, so Chenpao's down. Dragonite without Chenpao does quite a bit less damage. Defense is just a little bit higher. And it means that Dragonite here is still going to be strong, still has that Extreme Speed, still the Terrastal available for Arnie, but now a bit of a difficult spot to be in. Try to get rid of one or the other here, but Amoonguss is not going to do too much in terms of damage. This is a Pixie Plate on the Fluttermane. Got an equivalent item in the game now. I don't remember the name of it. You get it from Ogrehouston, first level, which is nice. Psychic for the Indeedee rather than Dazzling Gleam, which might be because it's Terra Water and not Terra Fairy, as you'll sometimes see. Now the question for Chris, do you try to get the Psychic Terrain back on? Do you try to just go for damage here? What do you do with your Pokemon in the back? We'll get the lock-in here. Arnie will open with the Terra. It probably will be that Terra Normal onto the Dragonite. No, it's actually the Amoonguss going Terra Water. It's a little bit better of a matchup into some of these Pokemon here. Won't take much damage against any of this. Extreme Speed finishes off the Indeedee. And there it goes. The Terrestrial Indeedee did get the Chen Pao out of the way, but at what cost? Bidoof, very excited for that one. Expanding Force onto the Amoonguss, going to do just under half of its HP, and the Spore in the other direction, going to make that Armarouge sleepy. Now a tough spot to be in if you are Christopher. Fluttermane coming out might be the best option, as you don't take any damage against Dragonite, and you're not too threatened by the damage from Amoonguss in general. Amoonguss just over the spot that it would need to be in. Dragonite could focus down the Armarouge, but it still means that the Fluttermane is able to launch out attacks at will. Got Dazzling Gleam, Shadow Ball, Moonblast, Protect as normal, just with that Pixie Plate. Amoonguss will Protect. Dragonite, locked into the Extreme Speed, has to use it into the Armarouge, just under half the HP there. Moonblast targets the Amoonguss, not going to do anything, so decent turn for Arnie, all things considered, and Armarouge will take its first turn of sleep. Could wake up as soon as next turn. Any options here? I'm surprised, honestly, that Christopher did not decide to go for the Dazzling Gleam there. It might not have knocked out the Amoonguss, given trying to get the Amoonguss out of the way without getting its Citrus Berry up is important, but getting the Dragonite out of the way I think is equally important here. And a lot that could happen at the end of this one. Also getting Trick Room, not a bad idea. Getting Trick Room up, not a bad idea. Dragonite's going to swap out now. It's going to be Urshifu coming in. That Urshifu Rapid Strike we saw earlier. Dazzling Gleam going to knock out the Urshifu. This comes in to go down. Does mean that Dragonite can swap moves now, but it basically is going to be forced to, as otherwise this Fluttermane isn't really going to get knocked out. The Amoonguss is going to Spore the Fluttermane. We'll see what the decision even is for the choice of the move, because Fluttermane is immune to both Outrage and Extreme Speed, which are the two best moves in terms of, one, in terms of damage for Dragonite, and two, just in terms of usability. But when it's asleep, maybe Fluttermane can be chipped down by the Amoonguss? I'd wonder. It does have one mandatory turn of sleep. Armarouge can wake up as soon as this turn. We'll be Stomping Tantrum that Dragonite locks itself into, and it will knock out the Armarouge. I guess looking at it that way, it is super effective against the Armarouge. It will be super effective against the Torkoal that we'll see in just a moment, and it's neutral against the Fluttermane, so it's about the best move that you have remaining if you are Arnie. I really want to get at this pizza. Torkoal gets the sunny day going, or the sunny weather going, which gets the speed for Fluttermane. Not going to mean too much, it's already the fastest thing on the field. Wake up as soon as this turn, which would be pretty big for Christopher. And it does. Gets the Moonblast off. It will take down the Amoonguss there. Gets the critical hit. Probably didn't need it. And there it goes. Now, I think this is a tough situation to be in if you're Arnie. Stomping Tantrum does have to go into the Fluttermane, I think. It will not knock it out. Barely not enough. And the Heat Wave does some good damage to the Dragonite. But that'll probably be it. Fluttermane is just too fast. And the Moonblast will finish it off. Oh, that was a rough ending for that one for Arnie. Great play by, great overall by Christopher, and potentially could have won that at the end. Torkoal very defensive, could have tried to bulk out a couple hits and finish off that Dragonite with a Heat Wave, or even gotten a burn out of that, but in any case, Christopher winning game number 1. Arnie on the back foot here. Already with a loss in round number 1. He told me that was against the Dondozo team. But in any case, it's an interesting matchup. I think in terms of leads, The Chen Pao is certainly good into certain parts of it, but that Terra Water Indeedee really handled Arnie. And I'm not sure... One, I don't think Arnie should necessarily lead the same thing in response. Two, I don't know if Christopher wants to lead the same thing, knowing that Arnie might have a better response there. We didn't see the Hisui and Lilligant last time. It was a bit more Trick Room heavy, so didn't need to see it at all. Be the same team from Christopher, just with different order. Arnie, still making his decisions here. Did not see the Golden Go or the Entei last time. Entei could have been a nice matchup into that Flutter Mane. Definitely takes its hits pretty well. The biggest difference between the Entei and the Dragonite. But... Sorry, I'm getting distracted by pizza. I really want this pizza. Arnie will lock in his Mons. We will get underway. Game number 2, round number 4 here. Both these players at 2-1. A win puts them in a decent spot to qualify for Top Cut. A loss makes it very difficult, especially since Arnie had a bye round 1. Or, excuse me, round 2. Christopher might have had one round 1. I'm not 100% sure on that, don't quote me. Round number 4, game number 2, underway. Chen-Pao Dragonite, alright, the dynamic duo once again, and it'll be Flutter Mane and Indeedee on the side of Christopher. So, we do see the Dragonite immediately in this one. It knows that Stomping Tantrum's a good matchup into a lot of these Pokemon. But I wonder, I'm curious about how Arnie is going to be able to handle this Indeedee once again, because again, that Rocky Helmet chip was really meaningful, especially against the Chen-Pao, which really, yeah, Chen-Pao really needs that Focus Sash in this matchup, and it'll have to switch out here, maintain the ability to take down that Psychic Terrain. Not that it's too critical at this point in time. We'll see the immediate Terrastal again from Christopher. It might just be that Terra Water. Yeah, we'll be that Terra Water Indeedee once again. But that Flutter Mane will do more than enough damage to Dragonite if it's able to get a hit off onto it, so... Don't necessarily want to let Dragonite take a hit, but not a whole lot of options with that, center of attention. Dazzling Gleam, going to be taken by Dragonite. Dragonite will take one Dazzling Gleam as a treat. Maybe Aerial Ace onto the Indeedee. That did a surprising amount of damage. Rocky Helmet Chip will do a bit in return, but... Yeah, it's decent damage overall, but that Dragonite is still probably dropping this turn, and potentially Amoonguss as well. It's not happy to take these hits. Dragonite will have to switch out as well. We might see the 4th Pokemon here. We will indeed, and it's Entei. Mentioned before, Entei, nice matchup into the Flutter Mane. Doesn't take too much damage against Dazzling Gleam. As noted, not a whole lot. Psychic into the Amoonguss. Will knock it out. Doesn't get to use Citrus Berry. It's a critical hit. Potentially could have mattered there with Indeedee not being super invested all the time. In any case, Arnie now with a decision to make. Both Chen-Pao and Dragonite ran in fear of Flutter Mane. Now you kind of have to fight that Flutter Mane. It's going to be the Chen-Pao coming out, which might be the best option, as Entei can... Well, Entei can't really finish off the Indeedee before Chen-Pao is able to hit it. Chen-Pao might have to protect here, potentially? Yeah, Chen-Pao protect, Entei finishing off the Indeedee, and Flutter Mane not doing a whole lot to Entei, I think might be the answer. It will be the Shadow Ball into the Entei reading this play. Shouldn't do too much. Still takes it. That Assault Vest. Maybe the Snarl, actually. Bit of an interesting call there. It will weaken the Flutter Mane pretty significantly. I don't know if it'll be enough to keep Chen-Pao from getting knocked out by one hit. Particularly one Dazzling Gleam, even through, like, with the Rocky Helmet chip. The Follow Me once more. Will be Ice Spinner again, drops the Psychic Terrain, and will not knock out the Indeedee. There's that Rocky Helmet chip. There goes the Psychic Terrain. Dazzling Gleam comes out. And Chen Pao barely takes it. Chen Pao will stay standing. Entei, with the Sacred Fire, will finish off the Indeedee. That's no more Psychic Terrain. Does mean the priority is back in business for Arnie. Could be really big here. You can get a big Sucker Punch off onto that Flutter Mane. The two fire types in the back here. So Dragonite, two slow fire types in specific, so the Dragonite Stomping Tantrum could certainly help. We didn't see a whole lot of this Torkoal's defenses in game number 1. Photosynthesis activated, it means it'll be faster, but Flutter Mane is already the fastest one on the field. So just the priority will be able to take it down. Entei resists a lot here. Torkoal still probably can't let itself get locked into Earth Power. I think it still has to use one of its fire moves here. Entei will probably... it'll have to either Sucker Punch or predict the Protect from Flutter Mane and Protect, I would imagine. Flutter Mane will Protect. Gen Power Protect in return. It does indeed. Nice prediction there from Arnie. And we'll see what this matchup does. Entei Sacred Fires, and we'll see a weak, but still a lot of hits coming down onto this Entei. Eventually, I'll have to get tagged by something. Ooh, that was a lot of damage. A lot more damage than I thought it would be. And Entei is potentially in Moonblast range for sure, if not Dazzling Gleam range. With Chen Pao as well, not in a great position. Could be tough for Arnie to work out of with all the Pokemon remaining on pretty low HP. And Torkoal just standing there, not really threatened right now. You have to get the Flutter Mane out of the way, but Entei will Extreme Speed the Torkoal, get a little bit of damage down. Chen Pao will Sucker Punch the Torkoal, just not going to be enough. And Dazzling Gleam from Flutter Mane, not going to finish off the Entei, will finish off the Chen Pao. Entei will get finished off if the Heat Wave hits. Hold for Heat Wave. Ooh! Oh, never mind, it hits. And it hits. And we're good. Dragonite will come in now and probably just get taken down. I think Christopher has pretty much won this one. Yeah, Dragonite with no remaining HP, 2 Pokemon to take down. It looks like Arnie is going to go down, and Christopher Patiño will pick up game. Yep, there's the cancel. Christopher wins game number 2, wins in round number 2, and moves to 3-1 on the day. One more win and into top cut for sure. Arnie looking to maybe float through on 3-2, but it'll be difficult with the bye round. It was an interesting one because we got to see the a fixture of Regulation E with that Psy spam with the Trick Roomy Sun team, and then Arnie's priority spam with a lot of variance on it. But in any case, round number 5 coming up next. You don't want to miss it. Don't go anywhere.